again, that was over 10 years ago. Everything in the Call of Duty sphere, there's been a huge change in the landscape of shooters, and that's definitely had an impact on the game. And yeah, I do think the competition level and the hype between these games, it's definitely hurt some of the developers. But even still, they have still put out good games. I don't think Black Ops 7 again is a bad game at all. But are you ever going to compare it to those years? No, no way. And personally don't think that that's really a fair comparison because that time is just gone. Everything that in the world at that time that was going on to make that kind of game that was influencing it, it's just not the same anymore.
Welcome everyone to episode 265 of the COD Casuals. We're your host, Justin.
And I'm Mike.
How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing great, man. It is a beautiful day today. This is the vibes. I saw our guy Chris from the Breach, shout out Chris. He tweeted out it was like 60 something in Boston today. Same over here. I mean, it's just beautiful weather. The snow's melting. I'm seeing the grass again. And even when I went to the grocery store today, some woman was like, "Man, this weather's so nice. It just makes me in it puts me in such a better mood." And absolutely. The winter depression was for sure hitting. Like I
Mhm.
was ready for it to be over with the amount of snow we were getting. So this whole vibe, everything, the sun's out, like I said, 60 degrees, don't have to wear like 20,000 layers, definitely puts me in a good mood.
Yeah, it's like seeing the sun is actually good for you. It doesn't put you in a bad mood. um, but yeah, like it's 65 down here, and it was really nice. I mean, I was swamped with work, but the fact that it was sunny outside just made me happier, even though
Yeah,
I like had the same amount of stuff to do. Um,
right.
But yes, we're gonna have this for the next couple of days. But then I heard that it's gonna rain for like the majority of next week and possibly an inch or two of snow. We'll see though. I'll believe it when I see it at this point because it doesn't really make sense going from 65 all the way down to 40s again and like
Mhm.
possibly 30s. I don't know. We'll see. But right now, just enjoying the weather.
Yeah, I thought we were we were past the snow, but then last week we got hit with a couple of storms that
Yeah,
just
you guys
came out
did.
of
Yeah, yeah.
nowhere. Yeah. I
We
had a
didn't.
delay one of the days. I couldn't believe it. I was just thinking, I'm like, we serious right now? We're gonna still
Mhm.
be
Mhm.
getting
You
this?
serious right now?
And you're serious right
Seriously?
now? and, I, and I just when I look around everywhere here, there's nowhere to put it anymore. But
Mhm.
it is crazy how just a couple of days of heat melt so much of it.
Mhm.
Um, and also too, with the clocks going forward, that totally screwed me up too. Even this morning waking up it was just pitch black out, and I'm like, "Dude, no way." But
Mhm.
I'm gonna be happy about it when it's maybe 6:30, 7 o'clock or so tonight, and there's still gonna be a little bit of sun, like, that's when we're starting to set. Instead
Mhm.
of, like, we're recording relatively normal time, it'd be pitch black out. There'd be
Mhm.
yeah, we'd already be pretty much day over.
Yeah.
Um, so, I don't know, I'm hoping that we just don't have any more snow. I'll take the rain, but something about having a snowstorm or having some more snow in the middle of March just doesn't bode well.
Yeah, I know. I mean, hopefully we're past most of it. The storm that you got, um, it was like a rain, like freezing rain by us, and then it was fine after like a day or two. But I know up there you got actual snow and just
Yeah.
ice.
Oh, dude, it was crazy. Like my car in the morning when I went out was just coated in
Mhm.
ice. Had to take like an ice pick and just chip away at it. It was so bad. But yeah, there wasn't really a lot in the way of snow. Um, but yeah, this was a crazy year just of storms, I feel. Because in past years, maybe it's just recency bias, but I don't ever remember it being this heavy. I feel like we would maybe get one storm, quote unquote, but nothing like we had this year where you got, I mean, what was it, 30 inches or so? And then by
Yeah,
me, same thing,
39.
like yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
I mean, we
insane.
broke records here.
Yeah,
So it but this was the first like real snowstorm that we've seen in a while. Because I
yeah,
mean, like you said, over the years we get snow, but it's not really a storm. It's a couple inches here and there. This was definitely a storm,
yeah,
true storm. So
it was really bad, so again, most of that's obviously behind us now,
Mhm,
and all the cold and everything that had to come with it. A day like this, I definitely wanna savor it as much as I can because it has been a long time, it feels, since we had it, so I'm in a good mood
yep,
because of it. It was nice watching the Call of Duty matches, having my window open, actually seeing the
mhm.
sun. It was a good vibe, so I can't really complain right now.
Yeah, I know, and we'll be happy in the next hour when
Yeah,
we finish this. It's still gonna be light out, and
I know.
that's when it starts to feel like spring and summer when you go outside, it's supposed to be dark out and it's not. You just got the rest of the night to do whatever you want.
Right, yeah, I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was nice to have the weather. Like you said, Call of Duty. A lot of matches happened over the weekend, which we'll get into later in the episode. But good and bad. Good and bad.
Yes, yes.
But we did want to talk about season two reloaded. I know we haven't talked too much about the pub scene in general, but we've been chugging along. I mean, season two reloaded, it's kind of crazy. It's already coming out because I remember when season two was launched and
Mhm.
reloaded's already happening. So it's gonna be here really, really soon.
Yeah, and it's good because a lot of the stuff that they're bringing, they have lived up to expectations, I feel, regarding a lot of the remasters that they did promise, which was definitely a big selling point, I feel, for them and a lot of people in the community, they wanted this. Um, it's just gonna be a matter of, for me, with the other maps, which we'll go over here in a minute, a lot of the new maps that they bring in as time goes on, I hope that they 1 are just good maps in general for us to be playing, but also too, I hope to see some of this stuff make its way into the CDL, into the competitive realm. Just because, again, on that side, we'll get to at the end. It would be nice to have some of these new maps here coming out, especially some of the old classics that we played back in the day. It would be good to see them used a bit more than just in pubs, you know?
Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't know if that's gonna happen. Cause
I don't know either.
well, I mean, Raid did come in, Standoff didn't. So maybe one. I'll take one added into it. It'll be nice. I don't want to get actually no. We deserve to be greedy. We should have as many maps as possible. Compared to I
Yeah.
mean previous years, right? We only had 4,
Well,
5.
and especially too when like a big focus for a lot of these remasters, not all of them, but a lot of them is from Black Ops 2. And everybody in I would say in the general scheme of Call of Duty, you know, whether you're a public like casual player or in competitive, a lot of people always put that game, everything about it in the S tier realm. And the maps for sure. And they've had their fair share. Like we had Meltdown returning, and I was thinking that that was going to make its way in. No, hasn't come in yet. And now, like, we're getting more maps coming in here. They're bringing in Clifftown, and then they're bringing in Grind again and Firing Range. Obviously, like Firing Range is not going to make its way in there.
Mhm.
I don't know about Grind, but with Clifftown, I believe that was a competitive map back in BO2, wasn't it? Isn't that where
That was
Karma?
Yemen.
Oh, it was Yemen. Forgive me.
Yeah, yeah.
So actually, I don't know then if this one
No,
was in.
this is a remaster of Yemen. They're just calling it
Oh, okay.
Clifftown.
They just call
Yeah,
it
yeah,
Clifftown. Okay,
yeah.
cool, cool.
But
Yeah, it was
yeah,
there back
Yemen
in
was
the
in
day.
competitive.
Hmm.
But I mean, we'll see if they add it because I will say Standoff doesn't play the same compared to the even Standoff back in previous CODs. This one it just feels different. It definitely would be a lot faster. Raid kind of feels the same across every single game. I feel like so. We'll see if Yemen's going to be used or Clifftown is going to be added at all. The pros will probably have to scrim it, obviously, but it'd be nice to see another, probably an S&D map. Could be a hardpoint map too, but I am excited to see these maps come through because firing range is always fun. I enjoy firing range a lot. Grind, it I feel like it's one of those maps that people do enjoy, but it's always sneaked in to remasters. Like they just bring it in randomly, and
Yeah.
no one's ever asking for grind. They just throw it in. But grind is a good map. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I was wondering about that too. Like, why is Grind the map that has now become the mainstay remaster? Because it was in Black Ops 6 and now it's back
Mhm.
again. And I don't
And it was a
remember if it.
BO4.
There you go. Because it's a BO3 map, right?
I don't.
Isn't it
Yeah,
originally BO3?
I think it's original. Oh no, it was BO2.
Was it BO2?
Yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
well,
Yeah.
there you go, yeah, so we're talking now 5 CODs that's been in, and
Mhm.
I don't hear anybody ever clamoring to have grind in there. For sure, firing range is always at the top,
Mhm.
Nuketown, Standoff, but putting that map in, I don't know, I'm happy about it, I agree with you, it is a good map, I'm not gonna complain about it, but if you were going to remaster a map from a previous COD, I think there's a lot more maps that you could choose from that the general community would be more excited to see than grind, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know why grind just keeps coming back. I mean, it does flow. I'll say it flows pretty well on the majority of CODs that it's brought back into. So, I mean, like you said, not going to complain about it. At least we're getting more maps, and the maps are they're good. I'm actually excited to play firing range because I think firing range on every single Black Ops map or Black Ops game that they brought it in just plays really, really well. And it's
Yeah,
gonna bring me back to Black Ops 4 just on firing range with the Maddox if I use the Maddox.
right.
But
But playing that map with the new movement, is gonna be interesting, and that's
mhm,
always the caveat with these maps is when they come in, how much that movement even though it's really just a wall jump that you can do, it changes the map entirely. Like we were saying before, Standoff is a way different map because you can do that, and Standoff was played I believe it was played in, Cold War last, where it was
yeah.
standard boots on the ground and competitive, but it hasn't it hasn't really been talked about since, and I think it is because of this movement. Um, so I wonder with even a map like Firing Range for us, how much that map will change because you think about in the top house, like that main area that you could be in, you don't need to actually go up the stairs anymore. You
Mhm,
could just kind of wall jump up everything and maneuver that map way quicker,
mhm.
which I enjoy, but it for sure changes the flow of that map because power positions are not really power positions anymore when you could just jump up there, you know?
Yeah, there's power positions aren't really a thing anymore in these small maps. It's just so quick to just hop up
Yeah.
anywhere. You just gotta be cracked. You gotta be ready to have your gun up against anyone. But I mean, overall though, I mean, you listed off the maps like they're adding Clifftown, Grind, Firing Range, all the remastered maps. Those are gonna be good. They're adding a map called Mission, which is a 20v20 map. Probably won't play that. It looks like a
Nope.
cool map to be honest, but won't be playing that. And then they're adding a brand new map called Torque, which looks like it's on a highway of LA and there was a war going on. So
Yeah. This is from the, for all those people that suffered through that campaign.
yeah.
This
Yeah.
was in the campaign. I think it was way towards the end of the game where you ended up
Mhm.
doing this, or being on there. I don't really know because when I think of that mission, it was really weird how you had to jump from massive levels from highway to highway. And looking at this map from how they describe it, they just say it's a 6v6 and 2v2 small map. So it's going to be a face off map as well.
Mhm.
Um, I don't really know. I mean, we shall see how it's going to be. It looks like there's crazy, like you could walk on the side of roads and everything. I don't know if it's going to be some odd map like that where they have some weird element to it that spices it up compared to the rest of them. Um, but it's definitely going to be a bang out map in pubs all the time.
Mhm.
No doubt. If you just want to go for like camos or whatever, that's going to be the map to do it. Um, and I will say I like those maps, but for the new map that they add in for it to be a really small 6v6, basically like shipment kind of a
Mhm.
deal, I think it's kind of a waste, personally. I would rather see a brand new medium-sized 6v6 map, or if
Mhm.
it's going to be a smaller map, have it be so, yeah, you couldn't really play it on, like, in 2v2s unless you had to modify the map. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah. It has to be slightly bigger. I mean, having a 6v6 map that's also a face-off map, we already know that it's more of a small to medium map. And I mean, those face-off maps are fun, but when it's 6v6, those maps are just pure chaos the majority of the time. So, I mean, I wouldn't say it's as chaotic as Shipment. That's where, I mean,
True.
you have your, I mean, not even Nuketown. Nuketown is a small map, but it's definitely bigger than Shipment. So, um, yeah, and even at firing range, the size of firing range is a good medium sized map. Like I would enjoy a map that size.
So I was just gonna say to that because I agree. In my eyes, firing range is kind of more to the medium size. I don't really know in Black Ops. I mean, I'm trying to think of a map that is huge. You know, not really compared
In this
to
game?
MW29. Yeah, in this game, maps that are just massive maps. You know, when I think back to other maps like MW
Oh yeah, yeah.
2019, a lot of maps in there, those maps were huge, you
Mhm.
know. Comparatively speaking, these aren't that big. But when I look at on COD's website, they describe firing range as a small size map, which to
Yeah.
me, like, yeah, sure, but it's more in
Mhm.
that medium realm, you
I mean,
know.
it'll feel like a small map just because this game's fast, so you can get around quicker. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, the biggest map that I can think of right now is probably Exposure on this
Right.
game, and Exposure is big, but it's not. Yeah, I think we've gotten past the huge maps from like 2019, the Modern Warfare series, like those type of maps.
Yeah, or even something from last year like Red Card. Red Card or the other one, I forget the name of it, that was literally a city and it was all on the water there with all the buildings. Um,
Oh, I know exactly what
yeah,
one you're talking about with the church in the middle. I
exactly.
think,
Yeah,
yeah.
that map was huge. That to
Mhm.
me was like, but it had a lot of dead space in it.
Yeah. Well, these are
So
all 3 lanes
thankfully,
now.
yeah, exactly. So these don't feel anywhere near as big because they're more normal. But um, no, I think it'll be good to have these maps in there. I am looking forward to playing them. And I'm just happy too that Treyarch has kept their word and they've made sure that they're putting out these maps early. I mean, it is only season two reloaded, and they've delivered on their promise so far. Um, I'm just hopeful that they maybe do sprinkle in like in season three and reloaded for that and so on, that we do get a couple of OG original maps because I think those are going to be the ones that A may make their way into competitive, but also too, it'll breathe a lot of fresh air into the game.
Yeah, I mean, the remaster maps are nice, like we've said, especially these maps because Treyarch does a good job remastering them, but
Mhm.
having brand new maps in general is always good. And, if
Yeah.
it doesn't hit, then it doesn't hit. But I feel like for the most part, Treyarch does a pretty good job of adding brand new maps in, and they could sneak their way into competitive, like you said.
Yeah. I'm hopeful that that's going to be the move down the line. But with the people that are playing in the CDL, who knows if they're going to be able to agree on them? Just because that seems to be like the biggest problem is trying to figure out if everyone can agree on adding a map in there.
Mhm.
Because
Or
again,
the
they've done their part, but we just need a bit more added in from the competitive side.
Yeah, I mean, CDL could just say, "Screw it, let's add this in," and
Yeah,
the pros will have to adapt to it, but they probably would hate that. But
I'm sure they
regardless,
would.
yeah, so we got a decent amount of maps coming, and obviously we're getting uh new ranked season 2 of ranked, and
Mhm.
I mean that's always good. I haven't heard much honestly about any hackers or anything, which that's a pretty good sign. Obviously there are hackers, but at least on the timeline and like when I've played, I haven't run into anything. Everyone seems fine, which very, very good compared to last year. Um, so I mean, I will take that any day.
Yeah, that has been a big selling point for me with this game in general right now is that when you see people talking about ranked, again, I don't see many people ever talking about the cons of ranked or any problems that they have. And it doesn't get highlighted enough, in my opinion, that Treyarch really did do a good job with the rank play system this year. Um, it seems to be that all the problems or a vast majority of the problems that plagued it in Black Ops 6 have been fixed for this year. Granted, it did come out a bit later than people were hoping for, which is understandable. But when you get a product like this where they actually took their time and listened to the feedback and heard really no complaints or very small complaints from people, it's a huge win that needs to be celebrated. And I don't know what they really did for an anti cheat. I'm sure there is info out there as to how they did this. But again, I feel that that isn't really talked about enough, from what I see, that people are saying they did such a good job with this, and the fact that we have a playable ranked system is is impressive. You know, I was just say impressive, like, yeah, we should have that, of course,
Mhm.
you know, but compared to the shit we had last year, this is a complete 180.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure there are hackers up in top 250 and the iridescent realm. I mean, there's always just going to be hackers, but at least in general, below that, I mean, we haven't touched ranked in a minute, but I mean, we're not seeing any hackers in general. So take it as a win. You know, whatever people think. Obviously, less people are playing this game compared to last year and previous years, but so far, Treyarch's been doing everything right with this game, and they're always adding new content. And speaking of more, on top of the rig stuff, is zombies. They're adding another new map, and we are quickly falling behind on everything.
We need
Like,
to, yeah.
like we are falling very far behind on the storyline and Easter egg. Which, I mean, that's just on us because I feel like realistically, if we locked in, we can get an Easter egg done in a day easily. Start another one up, but I mean, hey, I'm happy that they're adding another map. I mean, this is just good content for the zombies community. I mean, people are probably beating the Easter egg on these maps within the first day or realistically the first week, and then they got nothing else to do, and then next season they add another map. So
Yeah, they don't keep you waiting very long with having extra content there. And again, we don't really know the story as to what's going on right now, but when they go and add the stuff in there and keep the story going and not having you wait around for way too long, or I remember in some of the past years, there would be little to no zombie content in certain seasons, and then the next one they may do it, it was every other one. It seems to be that they're sticking to the schedule here. And again, like I said before with the rank play system, it's just good that Treyarch is paying attention to every part of the community. You know, we have all the multiplayer casuals that are happy, the ranked people that are happy, the zombies people are happy. Blackout 2, I believe, is going to be coming here relatively soon, for people to be playing. I saw that today, I think, on Twitter. So every like type of Call of Duty player is trying to be satisfied, from this game. And I think it is part of what you were saying earlier that a lot of people aren't playing this game. And it's such a shame because this game, no doubt, will be looked back as one of the better CODs that we've had in the past. Honestly, I'd say probably 8 years. It'll definitely be one of the top ones. But right now, people hear me say that and think I'm out of my mind. But you just wait. Like
mhm.
down the
Yeah,
line, bad CODs are going to come out, I'm sure. And they're going to look at everything that Treyarch delivered this year and think, you know, they actually did a solid job.
yeah, and my hope is that the big topic of season 2 is the Black Ops 2 like battle royale. But I don't know if it's confirmed that they're calling it Blackout 2, but they're BR. It's not war. They're not calling it Warzone, and
Right.
I think this will help the Warzone community in general a lot. So I'm hoping people will come back and play this because it's way more arcadey
Mhm.
than what Warzone is. Which I mean, I played the original Blackout and I enjoyed that. It I like that arcadey feeling. I don't think I mean, yeah, Warzone was fun in the beginning. Well, and when I say in the beginning, yeah, like 2019 to 2020 for a couple months, if that. I wasn't even playing every day. I didn't get sucked into that because I'm a multiplayer guy, but I can see the appeal. But the Warzone community is essentially dead now. So I'm hoping Treyarch with this brand new battle royale that they're launching and the trailer, if you guys haven't seen it, like go watch it. It actually looks good. It looks fun. And maybe you and I will try it because it's way more arcadey. I don't know. But I see the appeal in this way more than actual Warzone. Because you can get kill streaks in this. You can launch like dogs. If you get dogs, you can have a dog go and get someone. It's just way more arcadey. And I know I keep using that word, but that's what COD is. It's an arcade shooter. So I'm glad that they're bringing that to their BR.
Now, do you think there's a lot of people who play Warzone currently that are not going to be a fan of this? Or do you think it's going to be a relatively smooth transition, that there will be people, or I'd say a majority of people, that go and make that switch just because it's the new BR and people actually fall in love with it, even though, yeah, it's way less realistic than what they're currently playing?
I'm gonna say the majority of people are gonna switch over because right now everybody hates Warzone. It's just
Right.
non-existent. But I think a lot of people switching over, especially casual players, are gonna be like, "What the fuck is this? This is not Warzone. This is not good." Because everyone's so used to Warzone right now. Uh, like plates. I don't plates aren't a thing in this. Like you regen your health, and people are not gonna like that. And the fact that Treyarch games do feel different compared to the Modern Warfare games, like that engine. And I think that's why a lot of people don't like Black Ops games too. That why competitive players like Black Ops games, but casual players do not like Black Ops. They like Modern Warfare. And you and I, we are casual players, but we enjoy the Treyarch ones because I don't know, it's more satisfying to get kills in this, and it's harder, I guess, like a bit harder than the Modern Warfare games, where in this game, like you have to aim for yourself for the most part. The game still helps you, but you have to aim way more. Um, Whereas I feel like in the Modern Warfare games, you can hop into any game and you could, fry. In this game, if you're brand new, you spawn into like a mixed lobby, you are fucked. Like
Right.
if you're going up against a team of 3 people, 4 people, and they're all trying, you're screwed. And that can relate to other games too, but especially in these Treyarch games.
Yeah, and I feel that Modern Warfare, like with a lot of that whole engine and with the IW, those games are on like a way more realistic side. And then Treyarch in the past couple of years, they have gone way too far on the arcade side, and there hasn't really been any middle ground. But this game, in my opinion, really does get a lot closer to that kind of feel, um, that I've always enjoyed in Call of Duties. And I hope that this new BR with Blackout 2, I hope it does fill that void for people that maybe again are totally burnt on Warzone right now. And maybe they did like Blackout originally back in the day and have been searching for something like that. I mean, obviously that's the community they're trying to take back to. There's a lot of people who were at Blackout and then Warzone came out and they had really nowhere else to go for BRs. But they wanted to keep playing Call of Duty. So I think that you're right. I think there's going to be a good amount of people that do make the switch to it. But it's going to come down to the support and it's going to come down to the hackers and maintaining all of that, which, based on what we said and have seen with ranked, they've done a good job mitigating any of those issues. um, it's going to be a lot different when they're doing it on a BR, just because of how many people are going to be playing, the amount of traffic, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more people that are trying to cheat on that, just because of the sheer number of players that are going to be in it. So it's going to be a real test for them if they can pull it off, and the amount of hacking is, hopefully minimal. Maybe you see it once or twice during an entire session that could be, 5, 6 hours. That would be definitely the ideal, because the last thing that you need with this when it gets launched and it's day one is people on the timeline absolutely ragging on the game, being like, "Can anybody else not play?" Like
Mhm.
hackers. Like, is that the only way? Or like, just played, for 2 hours. Every other match had hackers. Yay for Blackout too. The minute you see that and you have some big person, like I'm sure, well, I'm not saying I'm sure. I would imagine that even people like Nick Merckx or Tim or any of those guys are probably going to go and give it a shot. And if you have those big guys talking poorly about it, off rip, it's going to be really hard for them to recover from it.
Yeah, and I mean, I personally I don't think it's gonna happen, and I hope Blackout 2 smothers Warzone and everybody of this Warzone community comes over to the Blackout BR because they just need a change. Warzone's dead. I mean, if you go on Twitch and you look at people streaming Warzone, dude, it's nothing. No, and that's just a subsection of Call of Duty. If you look at Call of Duty in general, the numbers are just down. No one's playing COD. no one's playing Warzone. Literally, there's no point. It's just, I feel like most people that are playing Warzone now are still people that, from 2019, they got their friends, they want to just squat up, hop on every now and then and play, which I can understand that to an extent. Um, but through and through, I'm just a multiplayer person. I have more fun just sitting in multiplayer and, ranking my weapons up, trying to get camos and just playing matches competitively. So, I mean, I'm happy for the Warzone community to get another BR, and hopefully this BR just dethrones Warzone in general, and they all realize, oh, we like arcadey shooters, and then maybe Infinity Ward will look at it and be like, you know what, maybe we should do an arcade BR, or have Treyarch, develop another thing that they they were good at. Because I like the original Blackout. I mean, you would get it was boots on the ground, but then you would get these random jetpacks where you could just boost, and
Mhm.
it was fun. It's not supposed to be realistic. It's a BR. If I want to call in like a dog to come and attack someone because it's a kill streak, I want to do that. I want to do crazy stuff.
Yeah, and along with that, they also have to be competing against the other BRs, and these looter shooters, which has basically become the new BR. Um, so they have their work cut out for sure with them and trying to reestablish themselves in the BR community or world that Call of Duty really started back in the day with 2019. But it's going to come down to support and giving new content just like it is really with every one of these games that we talk about. Any game that we play, if the game is online and it's supported and is given extra content, not at the cost of the player, then people are going to keep coming back. And I agree with you too that I think Treyarch is going to be able to do this and they're going to do it successfully. They've proven that with this game as a whole, minus the campaign. We don't even talk about that, but
Hmm.
the rest of it, like when it comes to stuff that they've actually updated and brought to us, they've done it. And
Yeah.
it's a shame that people don't recognize that just because they want to hate watch all day. And I think that there's going to be a lot of people who come out of the woodwork that have been hating on Call of Duty when Blackout 2 finds success. They're going to start thinking, oh, yeah, it's actually not that bad. Hey, this game actually ain't too bad. And we're just going to be over here, be like, we told you so,
Hmm. Well, and see,
And
that's the thing. The BR genre was, I mean, Fortnite was the one that blew it up,
true.
but Treyarch created the first BR. They created Blackout in 2018,
Mhm.
and this in Black Ops 4 for people that don't know, and fantastic game. And the fact that I played Blackout,
Fantastic.
the fact that I played Blackout with that multiplayer, and I hit level 1,000 mass prestige on that multiplayer speaks volumes because it was it was good. And the the community in Blackout, it was small, obviously, because no one really knew what a BR was. People just spawned in. It's kind of like Endgame right now. Endgame is the what the genre looter, and you're shooting, you're looting and shooting people like Arc
Yeah.
Raiders. I think it's some people's cup of tea, not mine. I don't really care for it, to be honest. Um, but Blackout, when that first came out, not many people played it. It was, I think, it was a success. I mean, people talked about it, but the BR genre wasn't really developed. And then this is why you can't say COVID didn't help the blow up of Warzone, because 2019 came out. Warzone probably was more developed than Blackout, but they did a pretty good job, and that BR genre blew up. And now Treyarch has had all these years to develop their own BR. So we'll see what happens with it. I think it'll be a success. I hope a lot of Warzone players come over and they are like, you know what, this is good. They give some good feedback and they actually enjoy it. And then Activision and Infinity Ward can look at Treyarch again and be like, wow, you guys did it again.
Yeah. Now,
And
and
listen to
it's
them.
it's it's trying to it's trying to just reclaim what they had at the time, and it's very similar again to Black Ops 4 because Black Ops 4 does get a lot of it gets swept under the rug, I think, far too often by the masses. But the people who know, they know that that game is legit one of the best
Mm,
Call of Duties of all
no
time.
campaign
You know, yeah,
because they
exactly.
didn't have time.
Thank God, you
They
know, and
got multiplayer, they got the Blackout, and they decided to scrap the campaign because it wasn't up to par. They didn't have
I'd
time.
rather have quality over quantity.
Mhm,
That's what they need to learn from this. So I hope that they do it. They succeed with it, of course. I think we'll probably get an announcement for it relatively soon here. I didn't get a chance before recording to go and watch the trailer for it. But I did see a lot of people talking about it. I'm gonna go watch it after we're done. Um, but the hype is definitely there for it. It is difficult just because it is linked with Black Ops 7 and, you know, the situation and, you know, general consensus with the game right now is not that strong. But I think when this comes out, a lot of people are going to start playing it. And I have the faith in Treyarch. I think they'll succeed. And hopefully it brings some more traffic to the game and people start realizing that, hey, this whole package isn't really that bad.
mhm. Yeah, I mean, Treyarch's just the GOAT developer. They touch everything and they take their time and they do it right, so we'll see.
Infinity Ward's had their time too. They had their
Oh, yeah,
time,
no,
but it's been a while.
it's been a while, yeah, they should listen to some other developers, just learn
Yes.
from them because Treyarch does enough where they wanna innovate, sure, that I think every COD fan does welcome that, innovate, but they listen to the fans about, their innovations. If this is
Mhm.
stupid, they're gonna get rid of it. Um,
Right.
remember all the freaking doors that they had in this
Yeah.
game in the beginning? During
Mhm.
the beta, like the sliding doors back and forth?
Mhm.
Yeah, dude. Infinity Ward would have left that shit in.
Yeah, they would've. And, you know, of course, to the detriment of them because it's too much work, you know?
Yeah.
And
They're like, it's a core mechanic.
I'm curious to see, because we just put this in the notes and this came out it's a really cool thing about the Modern Warfare 3, like the OG one that you and I legit think is the best Call of Duty all time, which will die on that hill. There's
Mhm,
a behind the scenes documentary that's coming out for this game, just showing the making of. And along with what we were just saying, I'm really curious to see if they have interviews with these people, the developers there, on like how they did certain things and why they did certain things in that game, because that again is a direct sequel to MW2 in
mhm,
every way imaginable. And they had to have listened to feedback from the last year's game, or at least maybe learning from one another on the team, thinking this is what was in MW2 that we weren't happy with because we didn't have enough time or whatever it may be.
mhm.
But I hope that they throw some clips of that in there because some developers today, they need to go and kind of take some
Ooh,
inspiration from what was going on back in
yeah.
the day, because back in the day, those are the glory years. And when you see those guys talking about those games, those developers, they're all just like a bunch of bros hanging out, making the
Mhm.
games and being like, what you guys want, you know? It
Yeah.
was it was really like, I would say like community driven, which Call
Yeah.
of Duty unfortunately has lost.
Yeah, and I mean, look, we get a new COD every year, but, ever since MW2 2022, that was the first year where we went back-to-back years with, the same developer
Mhm.
and or not the same developer, the same, like, sequel,
Yeah.
and MW2 OG came out in 2009. MW3 came out in 2011. We had that gap of Black Ops 1 in between, and they had that time, which again, this is what I don't understand. This is the same schedule we've had. You know, they had that gap year to learn the mistakes that they did from the previous year while the other developers' COD is out. So they can take that feedback and then put it into their COD. And
Mhm.
MW3 is the OG one is very much uh, a better version of MW2. And I said it. They they took MW2, refined it, and it's MW3. The MW2 and MW3 in 2022 and 23, they took the same fucking game and sped it up to MW3, which MW3 should have been MW2 from the start. And funny enough, I think you and I probably played the most ranked in between those two games because we didn't want to play pubs.
Right.
Like we were so invested in the CDL, and I'm pretty sure those two games we probably played the most ranked. together.
Yeah, I think so too, for sure. Um, but like you were saying earlier too, it's hard for me to ever, man, understand. And again, it's like it's the best take, one of the best takes that I have, hottest takes for sure. It's hard for me to understand how people put the original MW2 over MW3. Um, I think MW2, it has mega nostalgia, and the maps are, like, unbelievable. The maps are, like, they're just all-time classics and everything, and same thing with the guns. But, dude, MW3, the maps were insane too. Those maps are so good. They are highly slept on, and again, everything that was good in MW2 was in MW3, and it was just made better.
Mhm.
Um,
The
and
culture, that's what it was. That's why everybody just puts MW2 at the top, which, I mean, I can understand, but MW3 is slept on.
And it's the same with Black Ops 1 to Black Ops 2. Black Ops 1 is a
Mhm,
godlike game, amazing maps, the whole thing. Everything that was good in Black Ops 1, regarding mechanics, obviously totally different setting and whatnot, but they carry that into Black Ops 2. And I mean, most people, and I would myself too, say that Black Ops 2 as a whole package is better than Black Ops 1.
mhm.
Um, but I carry that too with MW3. I think it was just a better game overall. It was way more refined. Um,
What a
and
run we had. Dude,
I know,
MW2,
dude.
Black Ops 1, MW3, Black Ops 2.
I know, dude. I mean, what happened, bro? Those were
Yeah.
that really was the golden years of COD. Like, right
Mhm,
around that time, every year you were excited for it, and every year the games banged and everybody was playing it. It definitely does weigh because we were kids when that came out, but you play those games now and they still hold up. They're still
mhm,
insanely good. Um, so I am excited to see this documentary. I thought about you too because I was like, bro, this is our game. Like we
mhm.
finally here we are at like 28 years old. We're gonna be watching a documentary on the game that we bought when it came out, and I'm
Yeah.
curious to see, all these guys talk about it. Like I want to see if they have new interviews with them or old interviews with like Robert Bowling and all of
Mhm.
those people, it's going to just be mega throwback to hear those guys talk about that game and give insight into it because it really is one of the greatest Call of Duties that's ever been made.
Yeah, and I I wanna know how much they're gonna cut from this, because 'cause I'm sure they're all under NDAs, they can't say certain stuff, but
Right, right.
there's secrets over there that I want leaked. I'm sure there's gonna be stuff cut out of this documentary that, that they weren't allowed to say, and
Oh yeah.
I wonder, the developers back then to developers now. Obviously, the same people aren't they're not gonna be in the same role forever, but you gotta transition that culture and like bring in the right people to hold up, that culture and that environment. And I mean, again, I think Black Ops 7, we fast forward like many years later, I think they developed a really good game. And I'm pretty sure around Christmas time, they posted a picture or something of all the Treyarch developers, all the people that worked on Black Ops 7, and then people took that picture and compared it to people that creating Black Ops 2, vastly different. Very, very different. Like
Yeah.
in Black Ops 7, a lot of young kids. And Black Ops 2, I mean, maybe they were the same age. Maybe we just look younger, to be honest, because we are those young kids now, the adults like working in those fields. But back then, everybody, dude, they all looked like they're in their mid 40s to 50s. So
Right.
I don't know, but this game's fun. Like I said, so uh, it was just people are making fun of all the BO7 developers. I'm like, yeah, shut up. This game's good.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's you could say that with all these games too, It's just and I think part of it is because at the time, MW3 like Call of Duty was already a big thing. Um, but when it comes down to the multiplayer side of it really taking off from COD 4, which another again, people just don't give anywhere as near as much shout as they should towards it. You really think about it from them, that was their third game in the series, like multiplayer, which is crazy. COD 4 changed everything. MW2 comes, insane innovation and like really did change the game even further forever. And then those guys are like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna follow that up." you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah.
Like, that's a different
Mhm.
mentality and amount of pressure that you have to have. It's like, dude, we're in the real early years, and then also, like you said, in between there, they're like, "Oh, yeah, let's look at what Treyarch's doing," and they're
Mhm.
like, "What the fuck?" Like, dude,
Mhm.
how did they do that? And now that Treyarch's just like, "Your turn, bitch." Like, try to
Yeah,
follow it up,
and they
you
did
know?
that back to back to back to back
Yeah,
years. The
they
competition now, I maybe everyone's just friends now, and they're like, "Nah, we don't give a fuck." Like, it doesn't matter. They're like, "Pressure is bad." No, pressure
Yeah,
is good because they built diamonds out of these
I was just
games.
gonna say, that's how diamonds are built, baby. Like, I think there was a different, mentality at the time with developers, and I also think too because it must have been a much smaller team,
Mhm.
and less money involved and less politics and all of that. Again, that was over 10 years ago. I mean, what was it? You said 2011? Yeah, we're talking 15 years ago
15,
that game
yeah.
came out. I mean, Activision and everything in the Call of Duty sphere has completely changed. You think Halo at that time was still huge,
Mhm.
and now Halo is nothing. I
Yeah.
mean, there's been a huge change in the landscape of shooters, um, and that's definitely had an impact on the game. And yeah, I do think the competition level and the hype between these games, um, it's definitely hurt some of the developers. But even still, to that point, like you said, they have still put out good games. I don't think Black Ops 7 again is a bad game at all. But are you ever going to compare it to those years? No, no way.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I don't, and I also personally don't think that that's really a fair comparison because that time is just, it's gone.
Mhm.
Everything that like, in the world at that time that was going on to make that kind of game that was influencing it, it's just not the same anymore.
Yeah, and, like, if you think about it too, what back then, the other competition to COD, just shooters in general, is Halo, like you said, you gotta be on Xbox, so to play that. You got
Mm.
Battlefield, and that was really it. I mean, there are a bunch of smaller shooter games, but everybody looked at those 3 as the titans. I mean, now, you have so many different, like,
Oh,
FPSs that you can play. You have way more options, which is a good thing for COD because that should push them to create a better product because and this is the thing. I think because so many developers start popping up and creating different types of FPSs, COD at one point, they started looking at their competition and were like, "All right, what do our players like from these other games?" and tried to make their CODs like another game when yes, I get being inspired by another developer, but this is Call of Duty. This is your game. Make it your game. Maybe, yeah, cherry pick a couple things from other developers, but make that unique to COD somehow. You don't need to copy and paste and try to do what they do because it's different. You don't need to completely copy it.
yeah, and those are always the games that stick out over the years is the games that take a risk and try to make something new and innovative that is a real change on the formula. Again, you think about Epic with Fortnite, and how they just took an idea that was not really like that uncommon, but they're like, why don't we just go in instead of having it be the 6v6 thing that we do, or, like with Battlefield, we'll put it on a larger scale. They're like, we'll just have you have one life and put you into one big area. Let's just do that, and
Mhm,
we'll rock with that idea and see what people think. And because it hadn't really existed, that's why people just latched onto it. And everyone's still trying to chase that idea that's going to make their game stand out from the rest. But I think because of the money and because of the politics and everything that's involved with it too, um, the the ability to take risks is probably more difficult, and it's also probably less encouraged because they don't want to affect the bottom line. If you take a big risk on a game and it flops, that's the other side of it. Instead of it just thinking, "Oh, well, it could be the best thing of all time." It's like, "Well, this could
mhm.
tank us too, bro." You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. And I mean, I think Treyarch just does a good job of finding that medium because I mean, this game, what the major risk for this game that they took was really they kept the omni movement, but then they added the jump, the wall bounce. That was it.
Yeah.
They didn't go straight jetpacks, which that probably would have brought in some people, but that would have made, I think, more people mad that there are jetpacks in
Mhm.
this game versus a wall bounce. That's it.
Right.
Um, But yeah, I mean, overall though, with like going back to season 2 and everything, Treyarch is truly the developer right now. They told us they would put out more content, put out more remastered maps, new maps, and they followed through. And I'm happy with Treyarch. I mean, with this MW3 documentary coming out, I'm hoping that maybe we get like a Treyarch side of it. We get like Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2.
I know.
If they do a good job with it, because I mean, realistically, Infinity Ward's got MW2 and MW3. That's it. Well, they got their golden CODs. I feel like
And COD
after
4, of
that,
course.
oh yeah, yeah, and
But I think there
Treyarch
is a
just,
COD 4 doc.
yeah, like Treyarch just carried on after that. They've always been the developer.
And I like to see just the behind the scenes of this stuff in general. I always find it interesting on some of our favorite games that we played back in the day. You didn't really think about this, but now that we're older, I start to look
Mhm,
back on those and I'm like, man, who did make this map? Like, who designed this? And what was the philosophy behind it? And what are you doing now, bro? Like,
mhm,
are you still working in video games or did you
mhm,
get out of it because of a reason, whatever it may be? Um, but people always look back at those games fondly. People always look back on those times fondly, and it definitely does have you have a skewed view when you look at it. Sometimes compared to now, people say COD was so good then, it's shit now. Like a thing I saw, like talking CDL, is I saw on the flank with Aches talking about the quality of players and like the plumber league. He's like,
mhm,
man, when we had Goonjar, we had apathy, we had enable, we had all these guys, and he's just listing up, Karma, Parasite, Proofy, all these people, and how they were so much better than the guys now, which again, very skewed view
mhm,
because that was a way different time. The games were way different. These guys were getting paid like nowhere near as much, weren't taking it as seriously, not all of them. And also, too, you do forget about a lot of the guys in that era who were shit. You know what
mhm,
I mean? You just think about the legends because now they're legends, but at the time they weren't as much. And I think now you have a lot of the people that, yeah, they're gonna slip through the cracks of COD history. They won't really be that well known, like a lot of guys back then too. But
mhm,
there's definitely a new class of people that are going to be legends down the line. Like again, your envoys, your dashies, your shotsies, Abizi, Scrap, Hydra. I mean, there's a whole bunch of these guys that are insanely good players, but they just don't get as much hype by some of the old people who used to play COD back in the day because what do they say, like it's
well,
rose tinted glasses or something, they look through it that way, that's the expression.
yeah. Oh, and I mean, competitive COD just blew up around that era. Everybody our age that watched that will always consider those guys legends, and they are. But I mean, they played the best CODs,
Yeah.
the ones that we played, the ones that we love, and that's why they're there. But I mean, you can't compare those guys to the players now. I mean, I'm sure they could hang to an extent. Freaking Scrap, Dashy, Shot, like all these guys, they're waxing these players because it's a different game. It's
Mhm.
completely different. Um, and I mean, all of them are playing at the highest ceiling possible. So, like, you're comparing different eras, but they're all playing the best competition in that era. They're all great players. It's a debate. I heard Ake say that too. I'm like, I agree with you. Those are all great players, but you can't deny like Scrap, Abizi, Simp. Like these guys are insane. And um Octane Octane was in that like weird tier. He was in that like transition period into the new-ish era because he's really young. I think he's what, 27,
Yeah,
26.
somewhere
Maybe?
around that,
He's
yeah.
super young. I mean, he retired really early. But he's his first game I think was Ghosts professionally. That was a little era in between there, but I think a lot of people would consider Octane a legend. I mean, he
Right.
is, but he definitely could have gone longer. But yeah, it good transition to the CDL because a lot of stuff happened within the CDL when that
Where
H
do
was
we start,
specifically
Justin?
talking about. He was talking about the plumber era. He thinks right now is a plumber era. And, because man, there are a lot of different matches happening and a lot of shit happened. I guess let's just start off with our boys at the breach. I don't fucking know anymore. These guys got waxed by
I
Koi,
don't know, Justin. I don't
but
know.
they looked insane against FaZe. I don't fucking know. Like these guys, I said it before. Purge and Snoopy in general, like specifically the subs, they cannot fry together. It's always one person is popping off and the other one isn't doing anything. Like horrible. And I will say Snoopy's been getting a lot of flack, obviously the past couple of weeks, but he's played pretty consistent every single series after that. And he went off in the series, played really well, but he should be playing like this every time because he's supposed to be that guy. Um, and they played Toronto Koi yesterday. Uh, they got waxed. It wasn't even close. Our boy Purge. I like Purge, man, but a 0.57 is not acceptable. And that's not just him. The whole team got cooked.
Yeah, I mean, none of them. I just pulled up the stats here. Spart, he was over here dropping, I think it was like a 1.4, 1.5 in the last match. He's down to a 0.72. Snoopy's the highest at a 0.92. I mean, it's disaster all the way around with the team. And then on the other end, you got Insight Justin dropping a fucking
Yeah,
2.06.
dude, that's because
Like,
that guy doesn't move, and they just kept running into him.
now there's some things I'll say regarding Boston. I don't really get so heavy into the veto stuff. I like we know how it works and everything. Certain teams can, depending on when they choose, they can choose to veto maps so they don't have to play them. Like they're picking and banning, and everybody who's been watching right now knows that Toronto, like they have their maps that they're really good on and the maps that you should, probably avoid them on. And this is just kind of basic stuff. If there's a team that is good on some map or like undefeated, undeniable on there, don't play them on that map. Like try that, but Boston fucking does it. And they get
Mhm,
absolutely rinsed on that map. And it's hard to feel bad for them when they could have avoided that and just not played them there.
mhm.
Um
That
and that
yeah.
that concerns me with the team and their judgment. And I don't know how that happens, especially when I mean, man, we're casuals and we could see that. And got the guys on the flank being like, bro, I don't know about Toronto. You just go and veto this map and you might be good. Like there because
Mhm.
they're not really proving on anything else. And then Boston's like, we're gonna play them. Let's
Yeah, yeah.
push in all the chips on that map. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, dude, vetoes are not complicated. If there's a team, their best map is this, you probably don't wanna play it.
Mhm.
Unless your best map is the same map, fine, chow them. I understand that. But if it's not, you probably shouldn't play them. That's why
Yeah.
vetoes exist. You're supposed to play each other on, you know, mid-tier maps for both of you, obviously. Like I would understand if Boston tried that when uh they are not in the situation that they're in right now, where they need points. They could potentially not make major two. I think they're in like a all right spot. Like I'm not as worried about them. But they could miss it. Um,
Right.
if they were, mid pack towards the upper middle, then I would understand. Fine, they're probably trying it out, and let's see where we compare to this team who's insane at this map and this game mode. Um, but the fact that they need points and they're playing Toronto on their best map
Playing them on
is
Den.
like it's
And
absurd. I can't believe that. I respect the confidence, but holy, that just means
but
your den is not anywhere near theirs.
there's also to that point, like there's delusional confidence
Oh
where
yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
dude, these guys are proven here. Like
Mhm.
and you're not. You just don't have the stats to back that up. And yeah, you're in a precarious spot right now with trying to make it a major too. Why even take these risks?
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
could get
Yeah.
Optic take and risk trying to play like the best teams on their best maps, test the map pool, and just be like, all right, let's see how we stack up on these guys because they don't really they're good. Like
And
they're
that's
gonna make
exactly
it
what
like
happened.
right. And they did. And it's like that's a fine way to do it. And most people would understand that. But in Boston's situation, just it's not happening. And
Yeah.
especially too when it comes to the players. Um, yeah, I people are calling for Snoopy, people are calling for Purge. Look, they need to make another change. It's clear. I think those are the two guys that definitely come to mind.
Mhm.
And I'd probably say most people are leaning towards Purge just because Snoopy has that pop off potential and he does show from time to time, not as often, but he does show that he can fry. And I still, maybe I'll die on this hill with you. Hopefully, fortunately rather than unfortunately, that he needs to be around the right people and have the right system for him to
Mhm.
be enabled. And if they need to go and drop somebody else to, take the chance, obviously to get better, just to have some more consistency. And hopefully that person is the piece that they need to get out of the rut they're in, then so be it. But
Yeah.
um, they need to make a change.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean, I'm gonna die on the Snoopy hill. I know people are calling for Snoopy. This dude's leaving and he's gonna go fry on another team. I'm not letting that happen. If I was a GM, and also you've invested this amount of time, I understand you have to call it quits at some point on players, but I think Snoopy's ceiling is much higher than Persia's in terms of uh, just seeing him throughout the years playing. And Persia's a great player when he's on it. And I mean, last year Snoopy and Persia looked like an awesome duo together. For some reason in this game, they can't click at the same time, and I think Purge is going to be the next roster change. But uh, honestly, I thought two players were gonna. I thought Cammy and Purge. I think in one of our shorts, I said that Cammy and Purge are gonna be the two that get dropped, and Spark got picked up, which is great. If they picked up Cap, it would have been nice to have Cap because that dude just he matches Snoopy's speed. He just fucking runs.
Mhm.
Um, and I think he needs another player like that. He had Kremp at one point, like back in I think it was MW2 or MW3. It was Kremp and Snoopy. They're kind of the same player, so it's hard to have both of them because they just run. But
Right.
Kremp is frying on G2. He's looked good ever since he left Boston. It's kind of fucking annoying. And same with a lot of these players. But yeah, I think we need another sub for Snoopy. And I think a lot of people are looking at obviously the Bush and they're looking at Huntsman biased, right? Everyone's just, oh yeah, look at these 8 players.
Right.
No one else in challengers because no one else follows challengers, to be honest. And I'm one of them. Like, yeah, I only know Bush and Huntsman because they put out content and they talk
Right.
about them. So it makes sense. But people are asking for maybe Pro Loot, maybe Johnny, which they just got to try something, right? I think Cap would
Yeah.
have been a better fit, but and I think Cap would have agreed because Cap is not. I think he'd much rather be in Boston than where he is now. So
Yeah, I think you're right, and something along the lines that, that the guys on the flank had talked about, which I thought was a really fair point regarding Boston and just a lot of these teams that are at the bottom right now is they need to act quick
mhm,
because not just because of their placings and like, thinking about champs down the line, like that is definitely a factor. But especially just with Major 2 right now, um, if they wait on any of these guys and hold out on their roster thinking, no, we'll figure it out. Then again, to your point, like Cap gets picked up. Now he's gone. And they could have gotten him if they acted quick enough.
mhm,
And it's again the difficulties of being a GM and having to go and pull trig, but that's your job. You have to
mhm,
be able to know just, okay, enough's enough. I've given you enough chances. It's not happening. And I'm gonna make the call here. This is what we need to do. Um, and Boston and a lot of teams at the bottom are in that situation right now because they just don't have the caliber of players that you can afford to really hold out on. Like
mhm,
we'll have to talk about them here for a little bit with Paris because the Paris Legion, Paris Gentlemates, so they're definitely carrying on the tradition right now. They're
mhm.
on a major L streak. They're like 4 bad losses. And they lost twice this weekend to G2, and then they lost to Vancouver, which is just appalling.
Mhm.
But I will say in the defense of that team, there's people saying, "Yo, Envoy's got to go. He's got to go." That to me is a much harder call because who do you get in replacement of someone of that caliber? Like
Mhm.
how good he is. And again, they just won the champion. They just won major one.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
is
yeah.
Envoy playing like shit on that team? Not even a question. Of course he is.
Mhm.
Like he's playing horrible right now. But you know that he can play the game, and it's not like he was good last year. It's like, no, he was good just a couple of weeks ago, you
Yeah.
know? Like he was insane. Um, so that's a tougher call for that team, but it is tough because you still have to sit through the bullshit right now where they're just terrible and they're totally in their heads.
Mhm.
Like that's all it comes down to for them.
Yeah, and I mean, you know the bottom teams are gonna make a change after Major 2. You for sure it's gonna happen. I mean,
Mhm.
C9, they squad wiped, right? I I'm assuming C9 will make a change after Major 2, because they've had this 4, but if I had to guess, they're not gonna qualify for Major 2. They're gonna drop, Okis and Hyde. They're gonna keep Encourage and Nezra. They could go pick up Prolute. They could go pick up,
Mhm.
Ojani. They could pick up anyone, like 2 from Huntsman and 2 from, Bush or just anyone. And then,
Or
yeah,
sign
spawn
Mac,
yeah,
re-sign some guys. Like they
yeah.
got options.
And now Boston's shit out of luck when they could have had a player that would, could fit with Snoopy and match him.
Yeah.
Whereas, like you said, with Gentlemates, they just such a different situation. People are calling for Envoy, like you said, but they just won Major 1. I'm not fucking making a roster change. The fact that people are calling for Envoy at this point is, I can understand, but it's been what, 3 weeks, four
Right.
weeks, if that. And you know that they're gonna go to LAN. I'm sure they're gonna do fine on LAN. LAN is so different. Um, but yeah, it is crazy to see Gentlemates lose to Surge
Right. I
C9.
mean,
Like they shouldn't be losing these games at all. And maybe not that I think those 4 guys have an ego, but I do think those 4 guys have egos based on their tweets and how they act, like, outside of the game, like online specifically. I'm sure they're
right.
they're great guys, but I get why they have egos. We've won a lot, but
Yeah.
they might have just
And
let
they
off the gas against these
Yeah,
guys.
and again, we don't know these guys personally, but this is all corroborated by people that do know them, and they talk about the real struggles of it. When that team is down, are they able to lift each other up and dig themselves out and be like, "Yeah, this sucks, but we're gonna be all right. Like we got land coming. It's gonna be a total reset for us." Whatever it may be to get their mind right. Because clearly that's the real problem with them. They're mentally checked as a team. They've just lost to legitimately the worst teams in the league. That a lot of the other top teams, would just roll out of bed and probably beat those guys. So they're in hell right now. There's no
Mhm.
doubt about it. And I do think, to your point, and I saw predictions. People are saying, still choosing gentlemates, and you're not wrong to.
Mhm.
I think that gentlemates at any moment they could all of a sudden just have enough sleep that day, have a good breakfast, something good happens in their life, and it just they connect,
Mhm.
and then they're back, and then they're already up at the top there again with Optic because Optic has just continued to we won't glaze them that much. Optic has just continued to soar into the stratosphere when it comes to their ability. Um, they are way ahead of everybody right now. Do I think that gap's going to close on land? Absolutely. I think it will, but it's kind of hard to imagine when people say like there's just no way they don't win that major. It's hard to imagine that they go there and just absolutely run it. I mean, they could, which would kind of suck. Like I
Mhm.
wouldn't really
Yeah.
want to see that. I want a good match, I want to see them like actually face some adversity, but um, right now online, they're in a complete class of their own. It's very hard to bet against them. So I'm hoping that they do have some competition coming to Birmingham. I hope that gentlemates, for their own sake, they figure it out. Because it's just gonna make everything more enjoyable. Because the mid pack right now, dude, like is just it's insane. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
there's no top teams. It's just
Yeah,
optic.
it's just Optic, yeah, and I mean, Gentlemates play Optic in the split, and it I think Optic is just so far ahead than so many of these teams. I do think when they go on LAN, it's clear that they're gonna run through everyone. But again, you never know. They might wake up and they're not playing the same for whatever reason. And right now, they just look unstoppable. Every team they've played, and if they can 3-0, 3-1 Gentlemates and embarrass them like every other team, that I would be worried if I was, the other players and teams. But with the Gentlemates thing, I'm going to retract the Dill is a great player. I respect the fuck out of him. But I'm sure this dude has an ego remember the first couple of games when they played Surge and Legend was on there and he's like, it's fucking Legend. He doesn't know where he's going.
Hmm.
And just listening, I'm like, yo, I personally don't like that, but hey, I get it. Would love to have Dill on the pod at some point, but I think those guys, they rightfully so, they have egos. I think every COD player has an ego, but that team specifically, they know they're good. Fucking Dill and Ghosty were both on Optic at one point. And from what I've heard, Ghosty tried to run things in MW2 with that team because they were failing. And then they finally
Hmm.
started winning. But he's not Merc. He's Ghosty.
Yeah, it's I would leave like on this with that team is that it's going to be a real test for them down the line. If they're able to face this adversity and get through this and, you know, maybe win again. Not saying like they're going to win matches of course,
Mhm.
but like win another chip this year or just make big strides together and improve again and get back to their original form. That'll be a big test for them, and then I think they'll stick it out, just like Optic did. I mean, the fact that those three guys, or I mean, what was it? It was mainly just Dashy and Shotzi. I can't remember if the other two just spots just kept switching. I forget how that
Fred
all
and
went
Kenny.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they had
There's
Fred and Kenny and then Hook.
Rook. Yeah.
Like they had those guys, but to think that Dashy and Shotzi stuck with each other and like Optic stuck with them through all of that shit, um, and again with Hook too, that like definitely brought them
Mhm.
close together because, dude, we were literally the worst team, and look what we did together. How we were
Mhm.
able to bounce back from that. Like we're solid up here,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah. And Skies was on
Gentlemen
there too.
facing that.
Can't forget about
Yeah,
him
Yeah,
because he
Skies is
was
on there
shit.
too. Yeah,
Skies was not good, and now he looks like New York subliner Skies because you know
yeah,
why?
right.
He's playing with the right players again.
Shout out
And again,
Snoopy.
so I mean, yeah, I not worried about Gentlemates. I don't even think they're going to consider a roster change, even if the only way they would look at the team overall is if they go to Birmingham and they place top 12. Then I think they'll. It's not a guarantee because again, like you said, you're really going to replace Envoy right now, unless he drops an absolute stinker. They're going to look in like, all right, should we consider a roster change? But
Or they
yeah,
don't make it.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, if they don't, well, actually, no, I think they mathematically make it, even if they lose out. Because,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, the other teams are just bad.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
FaZe, there's a chance. So FaZe doesn't make it. If FaZe doesn't make it, I mean,
Yeah.
they're definitely going to look at a roster change at that point if they don't make it for sure. Um,
Mhm.
FaZe has been weird. I mean, we won't talk too much about them, but they look off. They don't look like the FaZe. And you know what's crazy too? Imagine if Simp, Abizi, and Cell were all on a team together when they were like thriving. That
Mhm.
team. Now they're all in like middle pack teams. They are in the middle. Those three guys. They're not top three. They're just in the middle pack right now.
Yeah, it is really wild how at the beginning of the year it seemed like Abizi made out the best out of the trio and Celium for sure the worst. And now the tables have turned. Now
Yeah.
Cell
He probably looks the
and
best.
Falcons, yeah, they're definitely like on the incline. They're
Yeah.
looking really good. Um, and yeah, FaZe has just, this is the first year in the CDL that FaZe has clearly not been a top team right now.
Mhm.
Um, and I mean Thieves too. It's just bro. It blows my mind to see Thieves not doing as good as they should with
Mhm.
those guys that they have
Mhm.
on that team. It is just unbelievable. And I think they're going to fall into the FaZe realm where they've got that trio, and like you said, they're going to start trying to swap out. I don't know how long Niam's going to be around.
Mhm.
I think they should keep him, but if Niam is gone, like if they end up dropping him, dude, all the other teams should be banging this kid's line,
Yeah.
like immediately pick him up.
Mhm.
But
Well,
yeah, it's very odd in the middle with those teams.
yeah, and the thing is with Thieves, I don't think they can afford to let go of anyone else besides Neum because I mean you signed 3 insane players on pretty big contracts. I'm sure they can't
Yeah.
afford that loss. They're not going to take that hit. And yeah, I seeing those guys lose is insane. But that also just adds to the fact that it doesn't matter if this team looks insane on paper. If the chem doesn't work, clearly Abizi and Hydra are not that sub duo. It's not working.
Mhm.
You Abizi and Sim broke up when they were that legendary sub duo, and it fucking costed both of them so far. It's only year one, but you look at Thieves, I don't think they're cursed, but you look at the last 2 years and the caliber of players that they have, and they can't put it together and win is crazy because they're essentially just taking, really good players, signing them. You expect them to work like the Falcons did, and it's just not working, you know. Um, but yeah, it is the first year where that trio did break up, and I don't know, maybe FaZe Vegas is cursed. It always has to be Atlanta FaZe.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't know, imagine you see a reunion of Simp, Abizi, and Cell. They realized, okay, this wasn't working. Like the 3 of us were much better. At least they placed top 3 every single event. Because
Right, right.
at this point, they're all mid pack. They're like, I think it's a clear one. I don't even know who's second anymore. Um, probably. I mean,
Miami, maybe.
maybe
Like,
Miami looks good. Uh,
yeah.
you know, they probably look the most consistent. They haven't lost to a like bad team like Surge or anything. But yeah, Thieves and FaZe are just like duking it out at this point. Like we don't know.
But I will say it is fun to watch
It is.
because
It
we
is. It's
we
fantastic
go
to
into
watch.
these
Yeah.
matches and I'm like, when people are making predictions saying this is like obviously, I'm like, dude, who the fuck knows anymore? I got
Hmm.
no clue how these matches are gonna go anymore. And it's exciting. I do think though, closing out on it, I do think as we get into major three and towards the latter end of the year, I think it's all gonna balance out. I think
Yeah.
FaZe and these teams, they will figure it out. Um, will they get to the level of Optic? Who really knows? Optic is so far ahead right now. It's kind of hard to imagine that they just keep on ascending and everybody else plays catch up all year. I can only imagine that they're going to kind of hit a peak and
Mhm.
then everybody else will be striving for that. But we'll have to wait and see because right now, the mid pack, like again, second through 12,
Yeah.
or second through 10, I should honestly say, like those spots are all up for grabs. So the matches are really, really exciting to watch.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, I will say I hate seeing Scrap every time they lose. He's just like,
I know, dude. I
uh,
know.
like he can't. He's not even mad. Like
He's just like,
he's just
is
so
this
disappointed.
another year that I don't get a chip? Like, is that what this is
Yeah,
gonna be?
yeah, yeah. He's like, I have Hydra and
Yeah.
Abizi and Neum, and we can't win.
We
What
still,
the
yeah.
fuck is happening? Like,
Yeah.
and then think about the when he was on Toronto, they're winning. Like Insight, Kleenex. Those are
Envoy.
yeah, dude. He's
Bring him
got
back,
the
thieves. Nate
it's
Shot,
yeah,
bang his line.
it,
Get him back.
yeah. I'm sure Scrap at one point in his career, like he will get a ring, but it is tough to see. Ever since he's been in the league, he's the star recruit that came in and breaking every single record. But when it matters most, chokes. Like, you can't get it. Can't
Yeah.
get it.
Just like, again, doesn't quite have the opportunity to pull it off,
Yeah.
and I mean, we'll see. We'll see if they end up, getting it together this year. I have no idea, but right now, the CDL it's insane.
It's good
It's
to
like
watch. Great to
it's
watch.
some of the best competition and also some of the worst competition. But I'm enjoying the matches for sure. I'm gonna be excited for the next week, which we'll
Yeah.
talk about for sure.
Yeah, and with that being said, if you guys want to watch the CDL or you haven't at all, like, definitely go watch it. And if you want to talk about it, go join the Discord down below. Mike and I,
Absolutely.
anytime we're watching the matches, we're always, in there just chatting with everyone about it. Let us know too. If you do watch the CDL, if Optic is a clear favorite, you don't think Optic's a clear favorite, I don't know what you're watching.
Yeah.
But also too, for season 2 Reloaded, let us know what you're excited about. Are you excited about the new maps, this new battle royale, the zombies? Because I know Mike and I we're going to try out multiplayer. Got to catch up on zombies. That's for sure.
Mhm.
Oh, actually, one thing before all me shouting out everything, I have a backlog of games that I need to play, but there was a huge PlayStation sale going on, massive.
Mm.
Dude, I went and spent like $120 and I got like 5 different games, dude. I got
You
so many.
you okay?
I got Mirage for like $15, like the extended
Banger. Gold
everything.
edition,
Yeah,
whatever, yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
I got Ghost. Um
Oh,
I got that for like,
of
I think it was,
Tsushima or
yeah,
Yote?
Tsushima.
Nice,
I was gonna buy
nice.
Yote 2 on top of that, but I was like,
One at a time.
that one was, I think it was 45, which is still a pretty good deal on sale.
Yeah.
But and I bought Horizon Zero Dawn, the DLC that I just never got to play. And I bought like a couple other games. I just went off. I'm like, I got so many games
Hell
because it
yeah,
was just a
dude,
huge
let's go.
sale. But I got
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
massive backlog now. But if you guys have a backlog of games, I know this happens to every gamer as they get older, but you got to be very picky about how you spend your time playing. So we're definitely
Absolutely.
entering that, but I did get a lot of games. So for people that, uh, we don't just play Call of Duty, we play other games. There you go. But yeah, let us know what games you play, because I know I got a
Yeah.
backlog at this point,
You've
but
got a shit ton, yeah.
I got a lot. But yeah. Anyways, if you guys are on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know down below what your favorite part of season 2 is going to be. What are you most excited about? We're also on anchor.fm/COD Casuals, where we're on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all this stuff. Go leave a comment down below too. And if you don't want to listen to the whole thing, we chop it up and post it on TikTok and Instagram Reels. So definitely go over there. And 5-star rating on Spotify,
Always.
everything. And Spotify too. Click the follow button,
Mhm.
because more than actually 80% of you guys listen to us, but you are not following. So go hit that follow button because it helps us out a ton. And 5 stars.
Absolutely.
And I think
Mhm.
that's it.
And that's it, bro.
Yeah. So thank you, everyone. This has been episode 265 of the COD Casuals. We're your host, Justin.
And I'm Mike.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Take it easy, everybody.
See ya.